Coming up on Unwritten.
Some people are, the old saying, like stuck in your ways, hard changing. Do you help those types of people ever?
I believe I do, and that's part of why this message is so important to me, is that
Where does this desire of yours come from to offer solace and guidance to those in turbulent waters?
once you can accept that, then you can start to make those changes to move towards a new version of who you are and being that best version of you that you can be.
How you doing today, man?
I am doing well. It is a nice day. Where are you located?
I'm in Austin,
Austin. Oh, okay.
Texas. Yeah. You're in
Charleston,
South Carolina?
Yeah.
My brother's over there.
Oh, okay. What part?
I think he said he's like North Charleston.
North
He's
Charleston?
like 30. He's like 30 minutes from Charleston. Like he could drive there in 30 minutes.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
forget what town. But
Might
yeah,
be
he
like-
moved there a couple years ago and just he said he fell in love with it and he wanted to be like rooted there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's a really cool place to be. It's you got beaches, phenomenal food. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And he said the people too, like the people, like he just likes Southern people.
it's the Southern hospitality. Must be
Yeah.
not bad.
Well, Randy Adkins Jr.
Yes.
I'm also a junior.
Oh, okay. How do you like that?
I don't. I wish I was original, but I'm not original. I came out the womb not unoriginal.
Oh man.
So, yeah. That's how I feel about it. I mean, but it's part of me, it's like I didn't grow up. They probably call you RJ. They say like for me they call me TJ cuz I'm Thomas Jr.
Oh, okay.
But
No, they don't call me RJ.
They didn't call you
Actually, my junior name didn't come into play until later. I actually did have an original name.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And I actually got my name changed to Junior when I was moving into,
Really?
yeah, because it was difficult as a kid because of the name I had. So, little different. So,
What was your name?
it was Ranciero Nishida.
Ranciero?
Yeah.
Nishida?
Yeah.
What's the origins of that name?
It's actually a combination. The name Ranciero is a combination of my father, my mother, and my godfather's name. So my
they just
dad's name is
combined them.
Randy, my mom's name is Cheryl, and my godfather's name is Gerald. So it's Ranciero. But
They just
it was-
made that up.
they made it up, and it was difficult for people to
Pronounce.
enunciate and pronounce. So
I mean, that's one of the perks of parenting. You could just make your own name. You can call your kid.
They probably didn't think about that. Every time I would be in school, that
Growing
would
up.
be a conversation, and that
Is Ranciero present?
yes. And
Yeah, I
so
could
then
only
they made
imagine.
up a name, and it was not cool as a kid.
What was the
And
worst
so-
you've ever heard?
Of the name.
Pronunciate, yeah.
Well,
worst
what they
pronounce-
started doing is they started making the name, cutting it off. And so the first teacher started doing it. She started calling me Ranchy. And I was just like,
Ranch.
I don't like that. That doesn't,
You don't want
that's
to
not
be
who I
called
am.
a bottle of ranch.
Yeah. Like, what is that? What is that? And so as a kid,
That's
and
horrible.
kids can be pretty brutal when you're young. So I was like,
Oh, yeah,
I
there's
got-
no filter.
yeah.
Kids
Like,
do not.
So it's a whole lot easier to call me Randy. So change my name, parents, please. So
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Well,
So I,
Randy,
I actually rather be the junior in this case
I feel you.
than
No,
not.
that makes more sense. Uh, but Randy, you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Can you tell me what moments from your past growing up have led to this journey that you are on today, and why you decided to write a book, Produce on Purpose?
When I was younger, and I talk about this in the book as well, I had a best friend. We would go out and go into his yard. We'd go in his backyard and we would start putting together all kinds of contraptions. So I'd get tape and we'd get tarp and we'd get rope and we'd put all of these things together in the backyard, and then we would call them our worlds, whether it was Star Trek, Star Wars, or us playing Dukes of Hazzard or whatever it was in the backyard at the time. And we, during that time, as I was doing that, and we're probably 7, 8 years old, we are coming up with these ideas, and sometimes we come up with them together and then execute on them and put it together, and we have communications back and forth. Sometimes he would share with me what he would want, and then I would be the one doing the work and putting it together. Other times I would come up with the idea and then he would do the work. I really liked that, actually. That was really cool because I would come up with an idea and he would start putting it together the way I wanted to. But what came out of that for me was that there is this ability for us to have an idea up here in our mind, and it can become a reality in this world. And from there, just as a young person, I was inquisitive and curious about, what does this life mean? How do I interact in this world and continue to do that? So as the years went on, throughout my pursuits, that's what I was trying to figure out: is how can these things that seem like just ideas in our head become reality? And when I was a younger kid, that was the direct way of doing it. But there are indirect ways of us having these great ideas, really seeing them manifest in this world in a greater way. And so that took me on multiple paths in my life, whether it was in my career, where I do software programming and consulting and helping businesses to do better in their lives from an automation perspective. A lot of times those are ideas that have never been thought of and then being implemented. Or if I'm on speaking or preaching as an ordained minister, to share how can I live this life better in a way that allows for me to have greater joy, peace, love, and excitement. Or I'm here as a father or as a husband or in these particular roles in my life where I can share information on how I could produce based on what I was designed for. And I always think about it like this. A great analogy for me is when I'm going in the kitchen, I look at the dishwasher, and the dishwasher was built and manufactured for a particular purpose. But if I take and I put a ham in the dishwasher, it's not really going to do what I want it to do. I want my ham baked, but that's not what the dishwasher was made for. The dishwasher was better. It's better if I put dishes in the dishwasher and and it cleans the dishwasher. Maybe the oven is better for baking the ham. And sometimes we find ourselves sometimes in a place where we are supposed to be the dishwasher, but we're trying to bake a ham. And I wanted to be able to share a way for us in our lives and a path in this book that I have produced on purpose, Experience Life Being the Real You, of a way that we can look at our design. What were we born for? How was what was I made for from my creator? And am I actually producing based on that purpose?
So where do people even begin? Because, like I could just think so many times where just I feel lost. I don't know what I should do. I don't know how I feel about what I should do. And Um, yeah, like where do we even begin to find that purpose behind how we show up in the world?
I encourage really starting with yourself. And I talk about connecting to the source or the creator of who you are and what you were designed for. The best way for us to figure out who we are is to maybe go back to the manufacturer that created and made us, and find out, hey, can I figure out what is it that I'm all about? I talk about in the book that we are tripart beings, being that we are a body, which we are, utilizing our senses, whether we hear, we are smelling, we are looking and seeing, or we're touching. We're doing
Feeling.
all of these, are tasting, and so we have our five senses that allow for us to interact with this world. And then you also have a soul. So within your soul, that's your mind, your will, your emotions, where those great ideas come from sometimes in our lives, the thoughts that we have. And then there's a spirit within you, a spirit that is kind of what the core of who you are and your being is. And my explanation is for us to try to get all of those areas aligned, because if your body is in one place but your mind is in another place, you're never going to be able to really interact in this world in a great way. So there's other things that occur, and you're not going to be able to really have relationship with all of the areas of this world, whether it's people or objects or anything in this world, because you have this dichotomy happening. But if we can begin to align all of these areas to basically say, what was I created for? What was I designed for? I talk about in the book two specific purposes that we all should have. One is a general purpose, and one is a specific purpose. And your general purpose is that you please your creator. I call my creator God. You may call your creator something else. Whatever you call your creator, that you go back to your creator and say, I want to please you for that's my general purpose. And so my creator I call God, as is stated in the Bible, is God is love. Then my expressions and everything that I do will be in love. And so when I'm interacting with people, when I'm going throughout the world, I'm going to start to align my life with that love that I have for my general purpose. But then there's the second area of purpose that is really important for all of us, is that our specific purpose. And our specific purpose is gifting that every single one of us has. Each of us has it. You have something, at least one thing, some talent, something that you have, that it could be either one thing or multiple things that you are good at. And when I say you're good at it, it's not something you have to work for. So there are many things that we can do to improve our skills and improve our knowledge about things, but this is out of the gate. This is something that you're good at, and out of whether
Came
it's
out the womb, is it?
yeah, people tell you, and they'll confirm it to you and say, hey, this is something you're really good at. And that's your specific purpose. And once you understand what your general and your specific purpose is, and you kind of know what that is, then you can then start to be able to work in this world in a different way. Many of us are working in this world from the outside in. So something happens to us. We look at the outside external circumstances. Maybe it's I'm looking at my bank account and I'm looking at the money that's there or not there.
That's not
or
there.
maybe I'm looking outside and there's a storm outside and it's affecting and it's scaring me and it's freaking me out. There are ways that we can look at things from the outside in, but what if you could potentially walk through this world looking at the world from the inside out? It'll be very different, because if you understand that I have the ability to make changes, be able to live this life in a different way, then you begin to see things differently. So I would say you start by looking in. And of course, there are techniques and abilities to be able to do that. But that's the goal of what you would start and where you would start with everything.
What about the people who don't feel like they have a higher being, or the atheist, or the scientist people, that would say like this is just like woo woo? What do you tell those people?
I would say lean into who you are initially. And I always ask this question of whether or not you believe that there is some higher power, a higher entity. The question always becomes, are you able to think and see and change things? Where are those thoughts coming from? You know, how are those ideas coming to you? Is it just, even if it's just biology, it's still coming from somewhere. Can you lean into that? Can you lean into understanding that who you are allows for you to change your situation, change where you are? Of course, the idea is if you are only looking at the physicality of who you are in a space where you can see that there have been times in your life where you've been able to take an idea of your own and you have worked with other people, or you have created something, whether it's art or anything in your life that you've allowed to kind of become a reality in this world. And so that's what I would say. If you only believe in the science, which is what you observe, it still aligns with what we're talking about. It's just that you are now understanding that you're going to only look to your observed, what you've looked at and what you've seen to
The thesis.
to guide you and kind of move you forward.
So do you think people should only play to this natural gift, and it sounds like a strength that they have, or like what about their weaknesses? How do you feel about that?
So I provide a great analogy at the beginning of the book. It talks about us really showing up in this world as actors and actresses. So, and what I explain is that we can look at the movies, and you know, I just went to go see a big movie, and it's got big movie stars, and they are all over social media. They are on billboards, and so you have these actors, and they're just big is everything. But sometimes that's what we're showing to the world as actors and actresses. And so on my book, I have a mask on the book. And it really goes back to the times of the Greeks when they would do acting. They would put masks on to show that they were acting. Well, many a times we're showing up as actors or actresses in all these situations of our lives. My encouragement is that maybe with actors and actresses, the things that they do are really working off of someone else's script. What if you could have your own script for your life that you create, that you produce? And this is where some people would say, well, then I'll be the director. Yep. The director has greater creative freedom. They can say, hey, let's pan in over here. Let's look at how we do the video. Let's tell the actors and actresses to do this. But I would even say that the director works for someone else, and that's the producer. What if you could be the producer of your own movie called Your Life? And the reason I'm sharing this is because sometimes what we are believing are shortfalls or things that we can't do. We can be the producer of our lives. And what does the producer do? The producer brings in the script, maybe written by someone else, but they bring in the script. They bring in all the resources. So if you are not strong at something, you're going to bring in resources that are strong, that will help you with the vision of what you're trying to put together and trying to distribute. So you're going to bring in the right actors and actresses and the directors to support the things. So you're not having to act, direct, and do everything in your life. You get to get support around you, because producers don't produce by themselves. They have to bring others in with them. So my encouragement is that if you have strengths, you do lean into your strengths. But what you're going to do is you're going to share this vision that you have for your life with others. And what we will find is that many want to help in your vision of your life in many ways. That if you begin to bring that together so that you can distribute and you can begin to produce your life to the world. And for some people that can be scary, but it's what we all need. We need your uniqueness. We need your gifting. We need what you provide and what you are built to give to this world. That's the idea of saying, hey, I may not be the best at all things, but I can relate to others and bring them in and bring them onto the vision and produce this great movie called My Life.
Called insert your name.
Yes, yes.
No, I like that. People, I feel like the producers don't get enough credit in creating a film, to be honest. But
They make all the money, though. You know,
Yeah.
when it comes down to it, you know,
they're
an
like the
actor-
business of the film.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And so you want to get the greatest payoff in your life? Be the producer of your life.
What do you mean when you say people are always producing, whether they are conscious to it or not? What does that mean?
We are producing something whether we are conscious or not. For example, you are producing something or interacting with people whether you intentionally do it or you don't intentionally do it. And what's interesting is that most people believe that they have to be conscious of exactly what's happening at any moment in time, but it's you're relating to this world in every single way, whether you are doing it intentionally or not. And I always ask people, I say, do you want to choose to be intentional about where you're going, or do you just kind of want to go along the way? And if you go along the way, then you could be like a ship in this big ocean, and you're just being tossed, you know, here and there, all over the place, and you have zero control of what's happening. And so the idea is you're going to be producing something, whether you're producing love or you're producing evil, or you're, you know, looking at things in a particular way, all negativity. You can be producing negativity consistently, and maybe you don't even know it.
The vibes.
Yeah, you're putting it out and you're sharing that. And guess what? It's interacting with other people as you do that. And so it's important for us to become more intentional about what we are and who we are and what we do. And there are ways to do this in a better way of saying, when I was younger, I played basketball, I played baseball. And one thing I did learn while I was doing that is the more I practiced something, whether it was throwing the ball or shooting or dribbling, when I did that, the more I did that, it became a part of who I was, or maybe a part of the habit. It became easier as I did it more. The same thing with us is that if we are wanting to be intentional, we will practice. We will have discipline about something. If you want to learn more about something, you're going to read more books that are related to that. You're going to understand that. If I want to really know about money, I should probably be reading more about money, or talking to people more about money, or understanding more about money, instead of just saying, oh, well, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. Why can't you be intentional about that?
Yeah, some people are, the old saying, like, stuck in your ways, hard changing. Do you help those types of people ever?
I believe I do, and that's part of why this message is so important to me, is that the reason most people have come to me and they've said, hey, I don't really like how it is that I wake up in the morning. I just don't like, I don't feel good. And so one of the reasons I wrote the book is to share, here's a way you could wake up and still have joy, even though it may seem like everything around you is crumbling. It may feel like everything around me is not the way that I want it to be. How can I have joy in this area of my life? And so when you begin to think about that and you say, okay, well, I can start to intentionally do some things. And what I'm encouraging everyone to do is you don't have to just make an about face. You don't have to do a 180. I'm
Were
just
you in the
saying, let's
military?
just do 1 degree. 1 degree at a time. And the more we do 1 degree at a time,
Pivot. Yeah.
we begin to change our destiny. We begin to change our, trajectory by just changing, that 1 degree at a time in our lives versus saying, I need to do a 180 today. Yesterday, I was this, and tomorrow I'm going to be this. No, I'm saying
It's like getting over addictions. That's one of the hard ones. Like,
yeah,
you can't, not all addictions you can just quit cold turkey. Like, it could actually be dangerous. And
right.
what most doctors recommend is like slowly over time.
Yeah. And really, if we take the small steps to a different destination and we celebrate those wins along the way, there's some psychology behind that as well for us that helps us to continue to go on to that next step and understand that you will see differences over time, but you may not see the little small increment that you made. Just celebrate that, hey,
It's not the instant gratification.
is not instant gratification, but you are going somewhere that is bigger than where you are today. And that's my encouragement to many, and how I've been able to help others is to say, over time, we can continue to do things. And what it will look like in some cases is, oh, wow, you were just an overnight success. No, this has been something I've been working on for sometimes weeks, years, months, long time. And sometimes that's what we need to be able to move forward.
Yeah, hopefully one day I'll be a 10-year overnight success. I have a 10-year vision for this podcast to like be on the top of the charts and
Yeah.
like millions of subscribers and listeners. But yeah, that's like 10 years from now,
And
How
it
do
could
you help
potentially happen
people-
before that too, right?
Yeah. Sometimes things happen when you least expect it.
Correct. But
I want to know where does this desire of yours come from to offer solace and guidance to those in turbulent waters?
It's interesting because I talk about a part in the book where I really talk about transitions. And when I was years ago, my 19-year-old brother was in a fatal car accident. And during that time, I was questioning, like, what's up with this? He's my younger brother. I watched him grow up, and, he's no longer here. I'm wanting to see him walk through the door. And, it was a really tough time for me. I'm struggling, trying to figure out what is happening. I talk about in the book an analogy of like, this is like the midnight hour. It's no longer night, but it's still not day. I'm in some kind of transition in my life, and I don't know quite what to do. And for me, this particular thing happened 6 months later. It was Christmas time. My mom brought a letter that she found on the computer upstairs in her home that was from my brother. And the letter went through, and I have this letter today. It stated what he was proud of me, specifically about me, and how we would have conversations, and he was proud of what I did and who I was and what I was doing. And at the time, I had many conversations with him and never thought that those conversations were going anywhere or, encouragements to him at the time.
Was he older or
He was younger. He was a younger brother. And so I would have that conversation with him, and I never thought anything happened. But from that letter, it showed that I was making an impact. I was actually making an impact on him, what I was saying. And from that time on, I decided that regardless of the message or who I'm sharing with, that someone may be affected by what I share. I don't know what the effects may be, but I'm going to do it no matter what. And so that's why I speak. That's why I'm writing. That's why I continue to do the things that I do, because I know it's a gift for me to share with the world. And I don't need anything in response, because I know that it's affecting someone, some way, somehow. I may not know all of the effects of it, but I will continue to do that because that's part of who I am. That's part of my purpose. That's part of what I'm supposed to produce in this world. And that, to me, has been a place where sometimes in those dark moments or those midnight situations, I also call it, sometimes it could be the dark night of the soul, where you are in a place where you say, hey, wait a minute, I thought this life was about this. That you find yourself, who you really are, what you're supposed to do. And as you come out of that, you can then either draw closer to your purpose, or you could draw further away from your purpose at that moment in time.
Yeah.
And I found myself drawing closer to my purpose and what I should be doing and how I'm supposed to be sharing. And so that's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do how do you like get people away from the dark side, like somebody just died, like I got a heartbreak or whatever, dark moments. How do you help guide people away from the dark side of, like addiction and depression and all that?
The biggest thing I can say is I don't believe there's a way we can just draw somebody away from it. I believe that there are multiple things that have to occur. And my encouragement is, you need support in these times, support from people who are not going to judge you, people who are going to listen to you for where you are and be able to support from a perspective of saying, hey, look, I'm here for you regardless of where you are at this moment. And I believe once you have that kind of support, and sometimes that support can show up as a therapist, sometimes it can show up as a pastor, sometimes it can show up as a friend, but these are people who are not going to judge you for where you are, because again, any of us can end up in these situations at any times in our lives. And what we need is that support initially to start moving forward. And then my encouragement from there is try to do something that will help lead you through the process of whether it's grief. In most cases, it's grief of the loss of something, of whatever it is. It may be a job. It may be a change in your life that you've never expected to happen in your life, that you start moving through a process to where you can get to accepting, this is where I am. This is who I am at this moment. And then once you can accept that, then you can start to make those changes to move towards a new version of who you are and being that best version of you that you can be. And remember that we're all changing at all times in all situations. And as we do that, we become better. We are better able to interact with this world. We're better able to influence this world and to do things that we probably never thought we could do or be a part of. But it does take that support. It does take us wanting to move forward and try to do those things, and just trying to take those little steps like we talked about earlier. Yeah. Just saying, hey, today I'm just going to get out of the bed. That's it. That's my one thing. Then the next day I'm going to do two things. I'm going to get out of bed. I'm going to brush my teeth. The next day I'm going to get out of the bed. I'm going to eat breakfast. Do those things, and with your support. And whatever that support looks like, that's what will help in those situations. Because sometimes we do have to confront some of the things that we have to deal with or process in our lives. And once we confront those things, we become better as time goes on with the support that we need.
Where does hope stand in all of this?
Hope is that portion that every single day we wake up, no matter who we are, it is full of opportunities and possibilities. Hope lets you know that there is an opportunity and a possibility that things do change. Well, guess what? They change. I will tell you they change, because if they didn't change, I would still have hair on my head. If they didn't change, my beard would not have gray in it. There are changes that are happening regardless of whether or not we acknowledge the change or not acknowledge the change. That means that hope provides us with, there are possibilities and opportunities that what you're in today is only temporary, and that you can move to something completely different tomorrow, today, and what you're in right now in the present moment. You can begin to make those changes, and it will be different if you believe that it can be, and start to do that intentionally in your life, producing on purpose, making sure that, hey, look, I want to be the real me no matter where I go, who I show up. When I'm showing up, I'm not going to put on a mask. I'm going to just authentically be me every place that I go and show up. I'm going to allow the light that is within me. It might have been dimmed by all of the things that have been going on, but I want that light to begin to get brighter and brighter and brighter. So that's where hope it comes in, and it allows for us to see a greater light in the future, and not only in the future, but in this present moment.
What about the people that are offended by the real us?
They're offended by what?
The real us.
Keep moving. So I like the idea. I've heard this before. So if I'm a light, and somebody's offended by the light that I have on, then tell them to put on some sunglasses. Why are you offended? You're mad because I'm smiling. You're mad because I'm happy. Maybe it's because there is a difference in how we are moving along or vibrating at the time. The biggest thing is if you know you are moving in the right direction, you are walking in your purpose, and you are sharing the best that you can. I also share in the book that sometimes we have visions and seeds of vision in our lives. The two things that are usually the major obstacles is us, so you and me believing that we are not enough. And then the second area is other people. And I will encourage everyone, do not allow the thoughts of them and who they are, because more than likely whatever they're saying or showing up as is a reflection of who they are, not so much a reflection of who you are.
Yeah, that's helped me tremendously, that that mindset like switch, especially when you make like social media content. It's bound to happen. Doesn't matter like what good, purposeful, driven, peaceful clip you put out, like somebody is gonna try to bash you.
Yeah, and my encouragement is you keep putting out the content for those that resonate at the level that you are. Many times what's happening is the reason many are not in agreement is because they're resonating at a different level. And that's okay, because we are all here. We're all coming from different spaces. Allow it to be. Just remember that one thing that we all have control over, no matter what happens in our lives externally or what's going on, is you have the ability to affect and make a choice of how you respond. And if you need to respond to it in love and whatever you need. If you don't need to respond to it, let it be, because you understand that person is dealing in a place. And sometimes what we will find is we've been in that place before. And so sometimes you end up having compassion or empathy for the person and what they're saying and what they're doing at the moment. Even though it might look like it's against you or what you've been doing, it's not. It's just a reflection of how they see themselves.
Yeah, because I actually had a couple videos on YouTube get a couple hundred views, which is a lot to me, and they got a lot of comments as well. And some were good, some were mixed, but it's just like when you read these, it's like, okay, that's at the end of the day, it's just everybody has their own opinion, and you got to respect their opinion and not take it too personally, I think.
Right. Don't allow it to affect who you are. Understand, I definitely hear where you're coming from, and in many cases, sometimes that's true that you are able to say whatever you're able to say. But remember, many times you're on a different journey and a different path
Yeah,
than everybody
exactly.
else. And so their journey, continue down your journey. And if part of your journey is to do that, and that's what you want to put your time and energy to, that's
Yeah.
fine. But I'm putting my time and energy to this, and I understand the impact of what I'm doing and how that is affecting all that is around me and who's around me and what I've been able to accomplish and share with this world.
I love it, man. Uh, what are the universal truths?
Universal truths, I would just go back to understanding that, we know that there are specific things of who we are and what we are put here for, that we do have the universe that's here and everything that is going on, the basic laws that are here, that we are unable to change the laws, but we can use those laws to help us in moving forward and moving in a direction. My biggest thing for everyone is that you know the truth. Inherently, you know it. And so when it comes down to it, are you going to move forward in that truth that
Yeah.
you already inherently know? Not that you're getting it from something outside of you, but it is something that is already internal to who you are and what you're doing. And so my idea to the universal truth is look within, start within, and allow your inside to move and flow out to this world. That when you begin to impact this world, you are seeing the changes that are coming from internal to you that is affecting, and those expressions are affecting this world, affecting the relationships that are there versus that other way of allowing all of the things that are happening in this world to affect you and change you. Be you and continue to be strong in that.
What about the truths people create for themselves?
The truths that you create for yourselves, they are not truths. If they are just based on your subjectivity or the filters that you see this world from, and
Biases. Yeah.
no matter how many people you can get along with you, and this is where some people try to validate their what they would call their truths, or opinions or their subjective things that they think is if I have enough people that agree with me, then that must be true. And the answer is we all know that's not the answer. The truth is the truth, regardless of how many people you can get or even how long. And one thing I will say is if it's not true, eventually you will find out that it's not true. And whether or not you want to continue down that path in your life, you have to be true to yourself about that. And so my encouragement is, just don't try to impose your subjectivity or impose your thoughts or impose your feelings onto others, but continue to share and let others discover that truth for themselves.
Yeah. Sometimes, especially family members, they can project their generational truths onto you, and
Fears.
it may not be true. Yeah, it may not be true, and we have to find a way out of that to create the universal truth of ourselves. What next, Randy? What next?
What next? Well, I can share a little analogy that I believe is helpful based on what we've talked about. And the analogy I love to share is that I encourage you to think about life. You can be a thermometer. Thermometers are great. They're fantastic at telling me what the temperature is. I'm looking outside right now, and I believe the temperature here is probably about 90 degrees or more. outside. And the thermometer will tell me externally what's going on. And many times in our lives, we can be a thermometer just like that in everything that's happening. So we are being a thermometer on the external things that are happening in our lives. And we can report on all of the things that are an issue. We have problems that are going on, and you can describe that problem in great detail. You have things that are happening and occurring in your body that you may feel, and you're saying this is what's going on, and you're telling that in every single thing that you do. So you're a great thermometer at sharing all of the problems and all of the issues that may be occurring. My encouragement is maybe we shouldn't just be a thermometer in our lives. Maybe we can be a thermostat. And the thermostat, the difference between the thermostat and the thermometer is the thermostat actually determines what the degree is going to be, how cold it's going to be or how hot it's going to be. And my encouragement to you is, instead of just saying what's going on externally and being an instrument to share what's happening and what's wrong, that you begin to be that thermometer that is saying, you know what, I want to change the temperature. When I walk into the room, I want the temperature to be all smiles and love. I'm bringing that smile. I'm bringing that love. I'm bringing that positivity to what I'm doing. That's when you are working from the inside out versus the thermometer is working from the outside in. The reason I leave that, because I believe that analogy helps us to say, I am in control of what I have in my life. If I want greater positivity, I want a greater love in my life, I want greater peace. And see, the thing about peace that many miss is that peace will allow for you to be in any situation. And plus, you'll sleep at night. I sleep every night because I'm at peace. I don't have any issues with anybody or anything is going on because I'm at peace within. That peace will allow for you to have a particular vibration in your life, that when you walk into a particular room, instead of you being the thermometer and saying, well, I wonder how everybody feels. Nope, I'm coming in with what I am and who I am, and I am going to be the thermostat. And if everyone will then be attracted to what you are bringing, and you can do that in your entire life, you can continue to move forward with that and be able to share that. And so when I say produce, you can be intentional about producing greater joy in your life, greater peace in your life, and greater fulfillment by intentionally saying, that's going to be my aim. Every single day, my aim is to make some kind of impression, inspire somebody, share something with somebody that will help them along the way in this life. Life can be hard. It can be tough. But what if you put it in your hands and be that thermostat instead of just that thermometer?
Facts. Is this us thinking with our heart and not our head?
This is us starting to think with our heart. I talk about in the book for us to listen to our heart. Our heart is vital. You know, when we look at our bodies, of course, it's vital to our bodies. Without our heart beating, you know, we're just not going to live. But when we talk about the heart, I'm talking about the heart of what you were born with, and not just your physical heart, but this is the place in your life where you have the ability to connect with this world in a greater way. And I go back to my creator, and if that creator has put something within me that connects me to the greater as a whole, then I know that if I'm moving each day and I learn to listen to that in my life, a great example of sometimes how your heart can be way ahead of your head is if I'm driving down the road, and unfortunately if you're speeding, and I look in my rearview mirror and there's blue lights, the blue lights, that immediate feeling that I have when I go, is it for me because I'm speeding? Or is it for someone else? I don't know yet, because my head hadn't caught up with what my heart already has known. And sometimes that is happening in our lives all throughout. You know, when you are in particular situations where your heart is telling you one thing, and this is backed up by science. So those who want to go take a look at your gut brain and your intuition and understand that we have particular nerves within ourselves, you feel that. And many times we need to be able to be more aware of what is our heart telling us. If we tune into that, we tune into our heart, then our heart should then be able to inform our head versus our head and our thoughts. And we know how jumbled up that can be and how many things can happen and how fickle that can happen in our lives. Is if you try to just go by your thought life, many things don't make sense. Some things may seem logical, but they're not right. But if you start listening to your heart and allow your heart to inform your head, and you are more aware of that, and how do you do that? And how do you really become more aware of those things? It's through meditation and through prayer that you begin to say, you know what, I'm being more aware of innately what I was born to do, who I was born, how I was born to kind of be. And you're listening for those tunings that will help you be able to inform, okay, my head and my thoughts. We already talked about how our ideas and those things come into our lives and they can become a reality in this world. Well, if you are really listening to your heart, tuning in and getting those instructions from the area of your heart that says, you know what, this is about the love. This is about me aligning with my purpose. This is what I'm doing. I'm listening, I'm being more aware, I'm alert of what's happening there, and I'm going to continue to use this as a practice and as a discipline in my life to inform those thoughts that will then lead to the actual feelings, the behaviors, and the actions that I do in this world.
Yeah, for me, that's the gut feeling. That's that intuition that you feel something's there, and sometimes you listen to it, sometimes you don't. And often for me, when I don't listen to it, it'll show up as a lesson that a hard lesson that I should have listened to it. And yeah, it's I don't know, it's tough trying to navigate that. Randy, do you have anything you'd like to share before we move on?
Biggest thing I want everyone to remember is that most of the times in this world, we are talking about what can you gain, what can you get, really about what can I acquire in this world. And one thing that I have discovered along this journey is that the greatest freedom, and most people are looking for freedom in their lives, comes from us surrendering and us letting go. And when I say surrendering and letting go, it is of sometimes of patterns, social norms, things that you have learned from your experiences in this world, that many times those things aren't the truths of this world. They are the falsehoods of this world, but you've been programmed to, and you've kind of gone back to those programs over and over and over again. I'm a programmer, I'm a software developer, so sometimes those programs that we've had in our lives, we've just kind of automated them and they've continued to be a part of our lives. But my encouragement is begin to challenge those and begin to remember that the social norms, sometimes spoken and unspoken, are not what you're supposed to be running by. You are supposed to be running by who you are. And that when you find out who you are and you understand what you're about and what you're supposed to do in this world, then you can, by surrendering those different thoughts. Sometimes it's trauma in our lives that we've been holding on to, that every time you are in a particular place, you're around a particular person, you hear something, you are traumatically changed. You are feeling that. That's a program that you can begin to surrender and let go of and say, you know what? I'm not supposed to have that. I'm not supposed to feel that. Process through that. Sometimes you need support to help you with that. I encourage you to get to a place where you can surrender and let go of those things. The more we surrender and let go of all of these external things that we have kind of picked up over time, you will begin to reveal who you truly are. And when you begin to reveal who you truly are, you can walk in this life with being that producer of your life and being able to sit there and say, I'm authentically who I am. I'm going to experience this world being really me. And when you show up as really you, you can be confident that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And your effect will be greater in this world, and people will respect who you are. They will respect what you're about, and you will be sharing the greatest things from your creator to this entire world in everything that you do.
Thanks for the pep talk, man.
Yeah.
No, I feel that like 100% because sometimes I feel like just when talking with family, friends, whatever, the people in my life, it's like what do you, like I always ask myself, what are you really doing this stuff for? Like why do you need to have a lot of money? Why do you need to travel a lot? Like what are all these needs like coming from in your life? And for me, it's just, I want to be abundant in all areas of my life, peace, wealth, prosperity. That's like my affirmation. Like I always tell myself, I want to be abundant in all areas of my life, peace, wealth, and prosperity. And I think doing the work, like doing this podcast work and having the purpose behind it, like spreading important messages, having inspirational people come on is part of my purpose. It's part of spreading the importance that everybody can find meaning in life and not be so attached to some external expectation. Like, yes, I do want to have a lot of followers and subscribers and make a lot of money, but I'm not doing it. That's not the sole purpose of why I'm doing it. The sole purpose of why I'm doing it is to reach people's hearts and minds and souls, and to hopefully inspire them that they can do something that they want to do in life as well.
And remember that what you are doing at this moment is just an expression of who you are. It is not the only way and the only thing that you can do to continue to do those things. And I encourage everyone to remember that we have seasons in life as well, where there are going to be times in your life where you will express that same who you are, what you're about, and what you're doing in many different forms and formats. And potentially it could be somewhere, some way, somehow, some way different, but you can continue to do that. And as you have stated, ask yourself, why am I doing this at this moment? What does it help me with? How does it continue to allow for me to be authentically who I am? And as you continue to do that, all of the other things that need to happen and occur will. Just know it.
It's the truth that I'm going to create.
Yeah. You're a creator, man. We're all creators. We all should be really basically being creators and producers in our lives. When we do that, we're fulfilled.
Yeah, I always tell people, especially like with social media, like don't be a consumer, be a creator.
Yeah. Don't worry about the vanity metrics and those kinds of things, because remember, if we can just touch one, you never know, that one person that you do touch may have greater influence than a million that you touch. So just do what you continue to do.
Where should we begin? Can you read that question?
Yeah.
It goes together.
Am
So
I
this
still?
first and then this.
Oh, okay. What is the top one? It says, share something heavy I'm still feeling guilty about. Okay. I would say probably the biggest thing that is still heavily always on my heart is it still goes back to what I shared about my brother in the fatal car accident, and from a perspective of guilty, I don't know if I'm really feeling guilty about anything anymore. I've really gone through a process of trying my
Yeah.
best to let
Let
go
go of guilt.
of everything, and I practice that on a daily basis, and I encourage
Yeah.
everyone to
Same.
do that, because it frees you. It really does free you. And
For
if
real.
there's anything that I find that I am guilty of, I try to get rid of it as quickly as possible, because what does guilt do? Guilt causes us to feel
Shame.
shame. Sometimes it also causes us to behave in ways that we wouldn't want to behave when we're interacting with others. So for me,
Yeah.
the guilt portion of it,
Like,
I
what are you hiding?
do, I'm more aware of it now. And
Yeah.
when it is something that I have to work on, I just try to get rid of it and let it go, because I don't want to be angry all the time. Really, we can live this life without fear. We can live this
Yeah.
life without the true anger that many people are just upset about all the time. If it really doesn't matter to you, then in the end, you are able to see situations for what they are. And you're
Mm.
not pulling in other
Yeah.
energies during that time. So for me, still heavy, even though it's been, gosh,
Y'all were close, huh?
yeah, it's almost been 20 years. It'll be 20 years next year.
I mean, I could only imagine. Like,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never experienced loss in my life besides my. I mean, if you could consider it, my father, the Thomas Sr. Uh,
Hmm.
he wasn't really in my life, so I wasn't really infected by that one.
Yeah.
And then also my grandma, my Lola in the Philippines, she basically raised me,
Hmm.
and I kind of lost her in a way to Alzheimer's. She doesn't.
Yeah.
It's like she only. It's kind of like I always tell people. It's like the 51st Dates movie. If you ever watched that movie, where it's like
Oh, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not the day to day, but it's like it's not like she only remembers this day. She only remembers up to a certain point until like the Alzheimer's was triggered. So
Right.
it's like I had kids, I got married, I had all this. She doesn't know that.
Right.
Only remembers before that happened.
Yeah. And
It's
it's
crazy.
tough.
Yeah.
I've had a grandmother, great grandmother that had Alzheimer's, and also an aunt that had Alzheimer's. And it really, for my aunt, it ended up being something that she couldn't even speak after a while.
Mm,
And so, she's here, but
but you're not here. Yeah.
not really here. Yeah.
It's
So it's
just
very
sad.
difficult.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So those are like the only two losses that I've personally experienced. So I could only imagine.
Yeah. Yep. And my encouragement is, depending on how close somebody is to you, you just got to allow those times to process, and give your own self grace as
Yeah.
as you go through those times, because life does continue to move on, and you can continue to do things in this world, and remember that the memory of those that we have connected with or have had relationship with, they do continue on through us and through
That's a
all of the
form
other
of them living
relationships.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so we're able to continue to share those things that they were able to share with us to this world.
I always tell people what helps me let go and find peace every day is, because it is an everyday practice, is just being grounded, like being grounded and being grateful. Grounded and grateful. Like, I'm not worried about the past. Like, yes, the past happened. It's already done with. And yes, it's in my head. It can remind me of whatever happened. Or the future, you could be afraid of what could happen. But I think being grounded and being grateful that you're alive here, you stepped foot on the ground, you had a bed, comfortable, cozy bed with AC to sleep in the 100-degree weather. Like, just small little things. Like, if you really remind yourself of these small little things of gratitude every day, that's one thing that helps me personally stay grounded and at peace.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, having gratitude and intentionally really being focused on gratitude. So, one of the practices that I do every day is at the end of the day. You can do it at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day. Say three things that you are grateful for. And every day should be different. Challenge yourself to not continue to say, well, I'm breathing and I can do, challenge yourself to be grateful. And also I write it down in a journal,
Yeah.
because what you can do, if every day you reflect on what you're grateful for from the previous days, and also I encourage the pieces of life that you write down, also some of the things that you intentionally wanted to accomplish and do and be a part of. And if you journal that, you will see that you are making progress, even though sometimes it doesn't feel like you're making progress. You find that there is that progress that's being made, and it will strengthen your practices and your disciplines and your gratefulness and your peace about what's happening every day that you wake up.
I agree.
Yes.
Randy, what is your biggest regret?
My biggest regret is I spent so much of my life worried about what's next, and it really affected me and the outcomes of what I needed to do. What's funny is that it does work in this life. If you want to set a goal or an outcome in your life and you want to work towards that, you can. But the issue is that I ran into was that you can be so focused on an outcome and a goal and so worried about it. So I would call myself the sometimes they call it A type or whatever. I would say I always had a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D. But
Like
that was a
over-analytical.
coping mechanism to make sure, because I was fearful that if plan A didn't work, I already had something already there. But it would take a lot of energy to do that kind of planning on a consistent basis all the time. When this doesn't work, then this is going to be what I'm going to do. When this doesn't work, but listen what I said, when this doesn't work.
Yeah.
What I have found is that it's going to work. I'm not worried about the outcomes. I'm worried about what do I do right now. And that has changed my life, is given me greater peace. Have I accomplished a lot of things in my life? Yes. But those accomplishments, a lot of the effort that was put into those accomplishments, I believe it could have been done differently. And I could have been way more present in the moments that I needed to be present in. There are many times that I was somewhere, but my head was someplace else. And so that's my greatest regret when it comes down to it. But we all know that in time we all grow and become better at what we do.
On to them. Yeah.
Yes, you just keep moving and keep doing what you do.
No, I like that. There's like some quotes like burn the bridges. Like there's no plan B. Just exactly like you said, if you have a plan B, you're expecting that plan A is going to fail.
Correct.
So it's like burn the bridges, like cross that bridge, burn it. And I would say, like, when you're trying new things, it's okay. Like, try new things. That's what personally helped me, just trying a bunch of things that I had interest in. And it wasn't until podcasting, like, I'm 29 years old. It wasn't until podcasting last year that I felt like fulfilled by the work. Like when you find something that you're actually fulfilled by and it still requires work, then I think that's that's the thing you could commit to.
Because you're going to do it regardless, because it is, it's not just what makes you feel good, but it's part of who you are. And when you find those things, and like you say, you try different things, and I encourage that to everyone, especially I tell my children that all the time. I'm like, look, don't worry about so much.
You're not gonna
Just
know exactly
yeah,
what you want all the time.
we don't know, and really just take the step and try. And one thing you will find out is if you don't like something, you'll know you don't like it, so you don't have to you don't have to go back to that again. Or maybe in time change, when time changes, you might like it later, but you just keep building that, and you find out, hey, this really aligns with who I am and what I do, what I enjoy, and I get a lot of benefit out of it. And not only am I getting benefit out of it, but I know what I'm doing is benefiting others.
Yeah, like I disagree with the whole like the hustle and grind culture, where it's like just keep your head down, climb the corporate ladder, or learn a high income skill that you hate but it can make millions of dollars. Like, do things you hate, but if you work hard enough, you can make a lot of money. It's like that whole focus on just finances and money and success. It's like, I don't think that's what's it's important to survive. Yeah, like you have to have survivability, but not the deeper purpose of life.
It's not sustainable. What happens is you will reach particular heights, but there's still more, and you're always wanting more, instead of the idea that, hey, I'm here, and when you're fulfilled, there's no actual more. I am fulfilled in this moment, and I know that if I'm pushed to do something else, I will continue to do that. Are there things that I would love to see happen and occur? Of course. But I do know that in this moment, I want to be present. I want to be aware. I don't want to be so hyper-focused on those things and those successes. And sometimes we have to have some of those things happen in our lives to free us of, okay, I got here. Now it doesn't feel quite what I thought it would be. Well, because if you ask yourself a question, really, why did you want that? Why did you want to get to that particular thing? Because there's never a destination in this world. We are consistently on a journey, no matter what it is that we do. So there will be accomplishments, there will be things that will happen, but that, again, those measures of those successes and all of those things in this world, most of the times those are things that have been defined by someone else, or it's just a means to an end. What is your end? What is your destiny? Who are you? And as you are defining that and moving that, you will have those things, and you will attract the things that need to help you along the way and move forward. But when we focus primarily on that peace, who we are, the rest of those things will fall in line, and they will allow for you to be a greater impact into this world and have greater relationships and greater influence, and things that will be able to do more. And you continue to do those things. Sometimes the world is defined all those things, and you can do those things. And I think that's the confusing part, is that in life, you can go hustle and grind. You can put your head down, but what have you lost throughout that time? How much energy did you expend in trying to do those things, and are you fulfilled? And most of the time, people could have a big fat bank account and still not be fulfilled. Why is that? Why is it that you hear so many celebrities talking about they can have anything in their world that they want, and yet they're still not fulfilled because they need more purpose? And that's exactly what we should focus on. And when you focus on your purpose, all the other stuff will come.
Yeah, like something I've been telling myself recently, having all these like big ambitions or whatever, is like, who are you like trying to prove? Like, I've been asking myself that question, like, are you trying to prove yourself? Like, are you just doing it? You know, like that's something I've been, I guess, meditating, contemplating on.
I will say personally, for many years for me, I had to prove to myself. It wasn't really to anyone else. Um, you know, I think I was 27 and we had bought our dream house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, big executive home, 6 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, huge home.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it and loved it, but there was also other things that come with that only as time goes on you will you become wiser about stuff. So there's maintenance that comes with everything that you do. But it was fantastic accomplishment. I don't believe I would be where I am today and understanding kind of how I feel if I did not make some of those accomplishments in my life. I may not have ever gotten out of the place where I could just say, you know what, I proven to myself that I could do it. And sometimes we just have to do it. And sometimes we will get there and you will understand. I can't tell somebody not to do it. I just do
whatever,
it.
Yeah, do whatever.
Get there.
Right to you.
And, even though you know the truth, everyone knows the truth. They know it. They know it on the inside. Just be true to yourself as you're going about and you're doing what you're doing in life. And the more true we are, the better and more fulfilled we're going to be, the greater impact you're going to have. And you can really see what's going on. And that's my encouragement to anyone. Of course, anyone's listening, encouragement to you is there are some things we have to break off in ourselves. And we have to understand. And some of those things were put in us when we were younger from maybe the way we were raised, how we grew up. But the unbelievable can happen in your life. And I'm a testament of that. You can have the unbelievable happen. So you just have to know the earlier you can understand that, the greater off you're going to be and the greater impact you're going to have in this world.
Yeah, I was reminded of something Kanye said. He said something about having a multi-million mansion, huge mansion, and he's never there and it's empty.
Yeah. You can have a lot of stuff in this world. Stuff is stuff.
Exactly. It's just
and I will tell you, all stuff gets old. I have a really nice car, but it gets old. Everything gets old. So, at some point, you have to be able to live for something greater than the things of this world, than the external things that are out here. You can accomplish anything in this world. Anyone can. And I encourage everyone to, so that your gifting can be shared with greater platforms in a greater way to be distributed. But the biggest thing to always remember is those outcomes and goals, sometimes they will fall short of what you are truly looking for. And that's why I wrote the book that I've written, because you can do it that way. And I talk about it. I have a podcast as well, and Produce on Purpose in the podcast. And one of the episodes, I share how the actual model of how we move about and do things, it works. Mm-hmm. And so when people see that, they're like, well, there's success in doing it this way. The issue is that you have to continue to do it that way, and it never stops. What if I told you that you could be in a space in your life where you are at peace right now? Whatever the outcomes are that are going to happen, I know that I'm going to be all right. My family's going to be all right. Everything is going to continue to work. If something happens or comes my way at this moment and at this time, I am going to be prepared to take care of whatever happens or whatever issue comes up. That's when you know you have completely shifted, because you are now in a space where you know you have been prepared, and you are in a space that whatever happens in this moment, and this is the only moment that matters, is right now at this moment, that whatever happens, I'm going to be okay to manage that and to take care of that, or be able to respond to that. And so I don't have to look so far into the future to have anxiety about it, or worry about it, or think about it. I don't have to look on the past, because the past doesn't define anything. It doesn't tell me anything about who I am. It doesn't share to me anything that I need to go back to. The only thing that matters is now. And if I know that, then you are then walking in the truth of this world, and understanding that there will be things that you will accomplish. There will be people that you will impact. And it's without a question. It's one of those things that you no longer have to doubt because of past things that happen. Many reasons why we doubt has to do with because we're leaning on things that happened in the past. That doesn't mean that that should build up your truth of what's going to happen now. So you have to remember that and know that there are changes that happen and occur. And one way that you may deal with something in the past, you're not going to deal with it the same way today, because number one, the situation is different and you are different. And you're not, that doesn't mean you show up the same way. You have to grow. If we're not growing, we're dying. So one of the things is happening at any moment in time. And I encourage everyone to continue to grow as you move forward, so that you have that new perspective. And as we have that perspective, it will begin to change your world, and it will begin to change the world of the people that are around you too, because they will notice the shift in mindset, the shift in direction, the way that you move, and how you share, how you go about life.
Who or what has made the biggest impact in your life?
I would say my dedication and my belief in my faith has really kind of been the proponent of giving me a baseline, a grounding, a moving forward. I use that as a kind of a point to go back to. So if I understand that who my creator is, I understand kind of going back to that. And I've read, from Sanskrit type stuff all the way from long time ago, all the way throughout different religions, and they all begin to align and say the same thing. So when I understand that and know that my basic understanding and my beliefs are saying the same thing of who we are, we should be, who we're born to be, how we are coming to this world, how we're to interact with this world, and what we're supposed to do, that becomes the greatest impact in my life, and continues to be a fuel for coming into this world, sharing in this world, relating in this world, and understanding that we are all expressions of that same creator. If we are expressing that and continuing to do that every day that we go, your beliefs are your beliefs in what you do, but remember who you really are.
I'm God. No, Wayne Dyer says that all the time. I'm like, I guess I am then. Wayne Dyer said it. Do you know who that is?
Yes, I have heard of him. Yes.
Yeah, he's a speaker, and I don't know if he's religious or anything, but he has this whole like affirmation meditation where just like for like 20 minutes straight, it's just like, I'm a creator, I'm God, like I have power to create whatever I want to create and show up, and it's just him speaking for like 20 minutes saying that over and over.
Yeah.
But no, I believe it. I believe we have the power to be connected with a like higher energy, and I think no matter what religion you are, whatever you want to call it, I think one thing they share in common is the power of faith and belief. in something greater.
Right. And being able to operate in that every day and understand what that does for you and how that can affect the world is paramount to making sure that you are bringing that fulfillment, bringing that joy, bringing that energy that you can direct in the right places. And remember, you don't have to give your energy to just anything. You can give your energy to the things that matter and matter to you and matter to your purpose and matter to what you're producing. And when you do that, you are in a place where alignment happens, and it is less effort than just scattering your energy just to anything. Remember, when we scatter our energy all over the place and we're doing all these different things,
It's like we're
it just
spread too thin.
yeah, it just causes us to be in a space that is
Always like exhausted.
exhausted,
Yeah.
tired, and out. But what if you're doing and you put in the correct boundaries in your life? You're putting the energy in the right space. You are aligning in what you're doing. You're able to have greater impact. And so I encourage that, as you're moving forward, and you will be very intentional about where you are, what you're doing, and how you're doing it.
What is one lesson that you had to learn the hard way?
I think I've shared it. The biggest lesson learning is really the scripture says this. It says, "Many are the plans of man, but the Lord's purpose is what prevails." And that explanation helps me consistently that I'm a planner. I can execute on a plan. I can get to that goal. But in the end, the best thing that I should really focus on is my purpose, what I was born to do and be. And I think when I align with that, no matter what, I will find that I will put my energies in a greater way, in a greater place, and not feel like I'm wasting anything or losing anything. There's no fear in that. You can really live in a way where faith is what you're driving you and what's moving you. And I always say we can do all kinds of things in this world, but the intention behind what you're doing, is it fear-based? Is it faith-based? Is it full of love, or is it continuously being something that you're doing it because you don't want something to happen? If you keep hearing yourself say, "I'm doing this because I don't want something to happen," that's fear-based. That's not based out of faith or out of love.
The first thing that comes to my mind is people working in jobs because it's stable. What would you tell those people? It's like, I'm working because I don't want to quit because this job is stable.
Find your purpose, and sometimes we may need to be in a place temporarily, but is that your end? No matter where we are and no matter what positions you are, it will change. So if you're on a job today, it will change. You will not be in that job forever. And so if you're looking for your job for security or looking for your job for stability, if something happens to you tomorrow, guess what? The job continues on. They will find someone else. I promise you, no matter who you are. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we need to put ourselves in the right space where we're doing to allow you to grow and impact this world in a greater way. So there's always a point back to being more fulfilled in what you do. The job you're on might be where you're supposed to be, but you're not supposed to be there forever. At some point,
this might be part of your journey.
Correct. Yeah.
I was flipping burgers.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
At some point in time, I was, frying chicken. So, it changes.
That is like the unappreciated hard work for real. Like, I was working at Kava. It's like a fast casual Chipotle style, Mediterranean style, like Chipotle out here. And man, I was there for 2 months, and that's the first time I ever experienced my hands being sore.
Yeah.
Like you know how when you work out, your muscles get sore. The
Mm-hmm.
muscles in my hands were like throbbing, and because I was like the main cutter and like I was the griller. Like I grilled, marinated, and cut all the meats. Just imagine doing that all day. Just
Yes. Yes. So
so
it's work, but you're not there anymore. So it changes.
it made me appreciate it, man. It made me appreciate
Correct.
chefs and the people that do that like all the time, longer, you know.
Yep. Yep. And that's the thing. We should be able to appreciate everyone and wherever they are at any
Mm-hmm.
moment, as we are interacting and as we are having a relationship with people, not to judge, because you never know.
You don't know what they're going through, yeah.
Correct. We don't know what their story is. We don't know how they are in that space, but be able to relate to that and empathize and be a part of maybe their story and understanding.
What would you want to do or experience in life if you had all the time and all the money in the world?
Really? I believe I'm already experiencing a great deal of that in my life. We've traveled the world. We have 3 beautiful children, married to an awesome wife for over 26 years. Um, I'm living a good bit of that, and at any moment in time, if I want to go somewhere else or want to see something, it can happen. So I'm living a good bit of that. I would love to continue to impact in a greater way, share in a greater way, as my heart feels, and share more love into the world. And that's what I would do, and continue to do, more of a life of service that to not only my local community, but globally, to be able to do that and share that in a great way. So that would be what I would share and say would be the greatest thing, regardless of money or any
Yeah.
logistical things that we would see as constraints.
Let's do it, man. Let's impact the globe.
Yeah, that's what it's
We got
about.
this. We got this. Um, is there any last thing you'd like to share to impact whoever's listening?
Pretty much that, we all have the ability to really impact this world in every way that we can. My encouragement is understand your purpose, and that's the thing that aligns with what you do, and you do easily. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort for you to do, that you align with that general purpose for your creator and that specific purpose for you, and that you are focused on producing that love, producing that joy, producing that peace, and understanding that you can do that on a daily basis, that you start small and that you continue to focus on doing those things. Use your prayer, meditation, and journaling to help guide you in this process, and that you find a way to get to a space in your life where you are fulfilled. You're fulfilled in what you do, and that your impact is going to be greater. Every day that you wake up, know that you are making a difference by just being, not doing. Hey, we know that we are not born as human doings, but we're born as human beings. Be you in all that you do, and you will produce on purpose. You will experience life being the real you.
Randy Atkins Jr., everybody, go check out his book, Produce on Purpose, Experience Life Being the Real You. Is there anywhere else people can go find you?
Yeah, you can go to my website, randyatkinsjr.com, and there you will find my book. You will find the ebook version, paperback, audible version for those who do not like to do the reading, but may, go to the gym like I do. and
That's
listen
me,
to
yeah.
it. So you can listen to it on Audible. And so you can go there. And just for this podcast, I will provide 25% off of a signed copy of the book and mail it to you for the coupon code INSPIRED. Just put INSPIRED as the coupon code. And you can also find information about my podcast, Produce on Purpose, there, where I start to talk about more of the information that's in the book in more detail. Great information like we've talked about here today. Additionally, there are videos and sermons and other great information. Connect with me there. Contact me. My social media is also there at randyatkinsjr.com. Thomas, it's been fantastic. Thanks for having me on, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to you doing some great things, man.
Me too, man. Let's get this production on purpose going, and anyone who's listening, know that you can produce on purpose and make an impact in the world around you and everyone in your life. So thank you, man. Peace.